Hi, welcome to week 7 of City Vision University's social entrepreneurship course. And this week we're going to be focusing on a couple things. We're going to have a forum where we're going to talk about how do you create a culture of innovation in your organization. So part of it is, we talked about what we're trying to do in this course is to help you get these create competencies and these innovation competencies. But we also want you to be able to spread those in your organization and to sustain those. And so the second part, in the bigger part of this course, is really going to be focused on your draft pitch deck presentation, and that's in entrepreneurial terms. They call a presentation where you're trying to sell a new initiative a pitch deck. So let me first talk about creating an organizational culture of innovation. And there's several articles and videos that we have you watch this week that talks about that. Ultimately, you need to have leadership that supports innovation. That may not be their strength, but I've seen, some organizations where the leader is, a detail-oriented, organized person that isn't super innovative, but they create a division. They're intentional of creating a division that's has a lot of autonomy, that is, their social enterprise division or things along those lines. So are they supportive of it? A curious culture where, you're going to ask a lot of questions. You can think of organizations like Apple and IDEO, where that's a big part of the culture. Now, diverse teams, this isn't just about racial or cultural diversity. It can also be personality type diversity, probably more so personality type diversity, but varying capacities. Porous boundaries, that's where you're going to be going to associations. So not just associations that, you might be a part of a network like Citygate, but if you have a thrift store, you go into the association for that. Or if you're doing counseling, are you connected there? Because there you're going to get much more specific innovations. Idea pathways. So what that really is about is, do you have processes that promote innovation? So that's really what this course is about. Does your organization use business model canvas? Does your organization try to communicate what it's doing using the lean startup circle that I showed you? Do you actually think in those ways? And do you have mechanisms for moving something from an idea? Like big organizations like Microsoft, they have both internal and external ventures divisions, where internally employees can, have pitch decks that they will promote internally to get, new ideas and new products approved. And then they also will do that externally, where they might, invest in others. And then the ready resources is, are you sending people to courses like this? Are you training people? Are you having your staff, go through books like Lean Startup for Social Change? So those are all some of the things that you can do. And the other thing is, if you're in an organization that wants to be more innovative, how do you do change management? So we could do a deeper dive on this in some of our other courses like organizational behavior. I'm not going to go through all of that, but the point of what I want to do is just to cover, okay, how do you start to think about how do you bring more innovation into your organization? So you identify the change, you say, we want to be more innovative. And you can try to assess your org readiness. You can say specifically what that would look like, the reasons for it. Innovation by itself isn't just a reason, to be innovative. If you're in an industry that doesn't require much change, say logging or something like that, it's ever since the chainsaw has been invented, it's been pretty similar of how logging's been done. You may not need a lot of innovation, but if you're in a field or you're in a nonprofit where things are changing a lot, especially cultural change is where a lot of the things that are driving this, but it could also be regulatory change. Then you get the details, what are you looking at, trying to change? You might, propose to have a new division or, some sort of venture process in your organization. And then the approach, you look at stakeholder analysis, resistant to change. You might have a change management team. and then you implement. So you say, okay, here's how, this might be getting into your strategic plan. So you have an action plan of how you're going to incorporate, it's one of the items in your strategic plan, and how you're going to incorporate that. And you might have a sub plan for that item in the strategic plan where you include communications to the staff, training, how you're going to handle resistance, working on different processes, and then ultimately in the end what you're looking to do is to standardize this so you get KPIs reporting. So you might say how much of our revenue, one of the KPIs that's often talked about, how much of our revenue is coming from products that were created in the last 5 years, and having some sort of review of your implementation of that plan. So that's a change management process. The last thing I want to just talk about is, so all this stuff that you've been doing up to now, as I mentioned, the lean startup business model canvas is we're having you do a cycle. So coming back to this Bloom's taxonomy, you're learning these new things, you're learning more deeply, you're applying them, you're analyzing, you're evaluating. Anytime you say we need to do a pivot, that's evaluating. Anytime you're adding the details into your business model canvas, that's your analysis. So all these things are components of your business model canvas, but this course isn't called the Business Model Canvas course. It's called the Social Entrepreneurship course. So ultimately, the final product for this course is your week 8 new initiative pitch presentation. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be trying to synthesize all of this into your week 8 pitch presentation. And that's the next thing that we're going to explain to you and what goes into that presentation. So thanks a lot.